Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello.
welcome to a very special holiday edition of Changing the Questions. My name is Paul Laporte. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Mike Miner.
Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever else to you.
Indeed. By the time you're listening to this, you might be getting ready to settle down for a nice dinner with your family. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you just don't have friends or family. Or maybe this is just a regular Thursday evening to you and you don't care about any of this.
Maybe you hate your family.
However, we decided that we were going to mark this occasion with one of our most frequently asked questions and a topic that has been a point of discussion for
Very
a
long
decade
time now.
at
Yeah.
this point. And the question that we're going to go over today is, will WWE improve after Vince McMahon leaves? Whether that's retirement, or if he kicks off, or whatever. There's been this prevailing theory for about 10 years now that Vince McMahon is super out of touch with the way that a wrestling show should be booked. He pushes the wrong people. He buries the wrong people. He just does everything backwards, and he is so out of touch with the audience that things are not going to improve until he's no longer in charge of the creative direction of the company, at which point, presumably Triple H will take over, and he's doing such a great job in NXT, and this and that, and he'll be the savior of the company, or somebody else, and we're going to discuss whether or not we believe that's true. Vince McMahon obviously has been a part of this company since the very beginning through now, but will it be better when he is gone, Miner?
Tough. I mean, with anything lately, as far as what Vince has his hands on, a lot of people complain about it, and I see why. I also see what he's trying to do as well. He's using old formulas that, quite frankly, are a bit stale, have worked in the past. You know, once in a while he'll hit a little bit of gold, but it goes away. Will it be better when he's gone? I can't say for sure. His inner circle, will they go away? Who knows? Maybe they'll still be around. Vince might be gone, but his legacy might be left behind. So that's kind of how I feel about that. Will it be better? I don't know. I'd love to give a solid answer, but in some ways yes, some ways no. It's a cop-out answer, but, you know, Triple H, you know, you see him with NXT. For all I know, Vince McMahon can take the WWE brand and he can say, you know what, I'm cutting it off. I'm bringing it with me to the grave. Guess what, Triple H? NXT's the main thing. This is your platform now. Go ahead. It's your thing.
Well, he can't do that. It's a publicly traded company.
Well, yeah, you're right.
So
you go.
If it was privately owned, yes, he could.
Yeah, you're right. No, for some reason I forgot about that, but yeah.
So
Triple H and his band of guys in NXT are very successful. If it came down to him, yeah, barring, you know, what he may be petty about, Vince McMahon's always been very business-oriented, very business-minded. You know, he would do what's best for business, what he thinks is best for business. I mean, he took Sable back over a decade ago. Brock Lesnar's back as of 2012. Would Triple H do the same thing? Who knows? But it really, really depends. It's tough to think of. You can't predict the future. I'd like to think we can, but very, very tough. Will it be better without Vince? A lot of ways, yes. Some ways, yes. Some ways, no. It's tough. What about you? What do you think?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't. Here's the thing. People still go under this assumption that WWE is like this singular thing that Vince is in sole control of, and he just pushes wherever he wants it to go.
He's got the final say in a lot of things, but
right. He does.
He's got a lot of people that influence him as well.
And not only that, but getting back to what I mentioned earlier, this is a publicly traded company.
Yes.
It is a corporation now, and if you pay attention to the business world at all,
stockholders,
you will know that a company doesn't just change. They don't just do something drastic and then all of a sudden everything's different. If Vince McMahon retires or dies or whatever, it's not going to be like Triple H is going to wake up and go, all right, let's do it this way now. And then everything changes. No. If there is a change, if there is a shift in the process, it is going to be gradual, very gradual.
He will definitely have a large say in what happens, because...
True. But think about this.
But if he does a terrible enough job, who's to say that he's going to be in that position too much longer?
But think about this, though. What would it take to completely overhaul the WWE creative side? Okay? It takes a shift not only of Vince McMahon being out, every writer on that team loses their job and is picked up by another writer. There's so much that goes into that's not just going to change on a dime. That's not going to happen right away. And
well, that's the thing, is that it does literally change on a dime. If they are not making the money they should be making or want to be making,
WWE, no,
things will change.
I don't know. I don't think that's true, because WWE hasn't been living up to their potential for a friggin' decade now. They have the best roster they've ever had in history right now, and you can pretty much universally agree that they don't necessarily know what to do with them. And I don't think that all falls on Vince. I think that falls on the current creative team. That includes Triple H. That I just think that it's just the culture that they've booked, and they've been doing it for so long that you're not going to undo 10 years worth of mistakes with 6 months of
definitely not.
Freaking Paul Heyman in charge, or whoever. Like, it doesn't matter who you put in charge. They're not going to just overturn this company in a day. And you can...
That's the truth. I mean, that's a given. But it comes down to what we mentioned before. No matter what you do when you're doing great, you can do no wrong. I mean, if you're at the top of your game and you keep going day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, and you're at the top of your game, you can do no wrong, no matter how much wrong you do. But the minute it becomes more bad than good, you can do no right, no matter how good it is.
But the thing is that real change in that company is not going to come about until they admit they're doing wrong.
And that's what Vince did years ago.
They admit they're screwing up. Exactly. Vince knew that there was something wrong, and if you listen to that conference call that Triple H had,
which I did,
said, I don't know what's going wrong. He didn't know. And that fact alone does not give me a lot of confidence that when he takes over, he's going to be able to improve it, because if you can't look at what's going on there and go, I don't know how to fix this, then that's not going to change when Vince is gone. The creative issues are not going to be resolved by Vince McMahon leaving the company. They're going to be resolved by when the creative team, everybody on the creative team goes, we're screwing up, we need to fix this. And I don't think that that's even going to happen when Vince leaves. Because it takes a lot of balls to admit that you're doing something wrong. And I don't think that they can do that.
I propose this to you. Do you think he just gave a canned answer? Do you think it was the complete truth?
No, I believe that he genuinely 100% does not know how to fix this.
I don't know. I see such a disconnect between NXT, the thing he's overseeing, and it's very, very, very popular. I'm not saying it's bigger than WWE. It's not. It's a different thing.
Right.
He's mentioned it's a different thing. It's chocolate to WWE's vanilla. It's two different products.
Right, and that's the thing too, is that
and he's running one, and the other one's being ran in a different way.
Yes, but Triple H cannot go over to Raw when it's gone and go, hey, it's an hour-long show now.
No,
he can't do that. He's going to have to try and work with the problems that have been put in place, and he's going to have to try and fix those problems, and those are problems that he may not know much about.
And it's going to be gradual. Like you said, it's going to take time. But even he knows that 3 hours is tough to work with every single week, and an additional 2 hours another part of the week. It's tough. He knows that. But as far as you can't just turn WWE to NXT, they're two different things.
Right.
I mean, it's going to take time where, you get guys coming from NXT, and you don't want to turn it to NXT, but you get these guys, and, you get all that talent together in that pool on the main stage, and, things could get better. But it's a matter of how it's presented, where the stories go, what their limitations are. I mean, I guess, as crazy as it sounds, I guess WWE in itself is a more PG-friendly product. NXT is not, outrageously crazy, language and blood and, extreme violence or anything, but it's a more exciting product. More is...
Right, well, that doesn't have anything to do with the rating, though. That just has to do with the way that things are presented and booked. But ultimately, also, I know it sounds like me saying that when Vince is gone, that's not going to improve the company is a pessimistic slant, which I tend to be more pessimistic on this show. Really, it's an optimistic slant, because what I'm saying is that the company can be fixed now.
Yeah.
That they don't need to wait they don't need to just sit there and look at their watch until Vince decides it's time to go home before they can do the quote-unquote good wrestling. They can do this now, but they have to recognize their faults.
I mentioned it to you earlier. It was off the record. Basically, I was happy with what they did with Roman Reigns on Monday. I think they screwed up tremendously with Roman Reigns. Loss after loss after loss. Let's get the guy crying on screen. Let's make him look miserable. They were repeating almost story for story with what happened with Daniel Bryan a couple of years ago, just 2 years ago. But they pulled the trigger with him on Monday. Hopefully it stays that way. I mean, at least let the guy redeem himself and keep going. Don't strip him of the championship. At least start with that. Go from there. Try to do other things as well, but, keep the most important part of your show solid and, get your other guys positive about what's going on.
Right, and I do think that the last Monday's Raw, maybe it does show that they are recognizing the mistakes they've made and they're starting to realize how to fix them. We'll see. They could drop the ball again in a week. That wouldn't be the first time that they had a couple weeks of brilliant flashes in the pan, just for it to just go boof and be gone.
It's crazy because they get a lot of those. I mean, there's some really solid shows, really solid pay-per-views, and then where does it go? It's like we said, 3-hour shows are tough to write for every week, and then you got another 2 hours during that week. Mm. So it's very tough to say, but
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we think. That's going to wrap it up for us. We want to know what you think about this subject. Please be sure to hit us up on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @ChangingTheQuestions, @ChangingTheQS. That's how you spell that. You can also send us an email. You can just send us an email to changingthequestions@gmail.com. If you were listening to this on iTunes, be sure to give us a nice little 5-star rating. Maybe write us a nice little review. That would be mighty fine of you. You can also check out our YouTube channel. You can check us out on Facebook. Just search Changing the Questions, and you can get to us either way there. This is a good subject. Probably one we're going to need to revisit at another time.
Like I said, I'm pretty torn about it. There's a lot of variables in it, and that's why we have the comments. You guys can comment.
Yeah, we want to hear your input on this.
I want to hear your input on this big time. I want as much feedback as possible. We'll go back and forth. We'll have a discussion. I love feedback. It can get heated at times, but you know what? I welcome it. This is what this forum is for.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much for listening. However you're celebrating your holidays, or if you're not, hope you have a good Christmas, Kwanzaa, Thursday, Friday, whatever. Just hope you have a good weekend.
Please enjoy, please be safe, and have fun.
Yep, we'll be back soon with another episode of Changing the Questions every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.